Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere, and even earn money. We like that. All in one place for totally free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your cellular telephone or your computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else, those other places that podcasts are heard.
Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&As and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free, zero catch. We've been using it ever since we started How Long Gone. And ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I feel like having the option of turning off the Q&As and the polls on the user dashboard has really helped boost my creativity and take it to another level. I highly recommend giving it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
Hello, TJ.
What up, Chris? We are recording, coming to you live from my guest bedroom.
Guys, this is an unprecedented move. This is How Long Gone episode, what is it? 106?
107, I think.
Episode 107. We've finally broken the fourth wall, and unfortunately, this is How Long Gone After Dark, live from Glendale. Jason and I are in the same room, and unfortunately, due to a technical issue, we lost the episode we recorded today with our guest. We will be able to get said guest back on the show, and we will do that next month. So you're going to get another episode of me and TJ cutting the mustard, shooting the shit, pinging and ponging. And honestly, that's what you guys come here for. So I don't feel that bad. I'm more disappointed in us for making an error because I'm a Virgo perfectionist.
Yeah, and I'm a Virgo perfectionist as it pertains to things that aren't work and stuff. Sandwich making, things
And
of that
stuff.
nature. But yeah, there were, out of 107 episodes, there's going to be a couple that get, I'm sure Ira Glass has hundreds of fuck-ups.
It happens to even the most elite
And I'm not even
podcasters.
talking about his personal life.
No, he's definitely got some errors there. But, it's nothing for us to podcast twice in one day.
This is the first time we've ever potted when there's nighttime out.
I know, I don't like it.
And thanks to the failing daylight savings, it becomes nighttime.
I know
at
this is
4
like
p.m.
a bad Twitter trope, but like the daylight savings time is fucking me up. I got to be honest. It really is throwing me off. I'm asleep almost before 9 p.m. every night, Jason.
I was talking to somebody today, and she was like, it feels like daylight savings, I don't remember it ever being this intense. Like, obviously, every time the daylight savings happens, it's like a jarring thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is so weird, whatever. But like, this is, I was telling her, like, I feel like, somebody at Big Earth.
I think that's God, but sure, go ahead.
Somebody running Big Earth they went to go hit the button that does daylight savings, and they ran it up instead of running it back. Like, and then it was
like
too
the
late.
check, you mean?
Much like the check. And it was too late to go back and fix it, so we just have to suffer.
I'm
now.
under the impression that daylight savings time is literally made up, and we could just not do it.
Yeah, I mean that's how many parts of the world, certain states like New Mexico doesn't believe in it.
I'm going to say it's Christian or something.
I mean, I get it. It makes sense. Like the Earth has a rotational pattern around orbiting the sun.
Bill Nye, relax. No
And
one
at
wants to hear this shit
certain
from you.
parts of that
Stop.
year, it is
Melvin
closer
Nerdly,
and
cut it
further.
short. Cut it fucking short. But the
Sorry.
daylight savings time is throwing me off.
Look, I know you don't like science, but this is not fake news.
I don't like science. I don't like math. I mean,
Maths.
Maybe that makes me dumb. You choose. We were able to though do a full photo shoot and play tennis. So we didn't have a full wash day. It was just we had a little hump in the road.
Yeah, I mean, we recorded a full hour and a half long podcast, did a photo shoot, played tennis. The tennis was in the photo shoot, and now we're back to record another podcast. And then when I'm done with this, I'm going to edit somebody else's podcast. And then I'm going to eat my first meal of the day.
I'm going to go home and take a shower probably, but I'm sorry about that for you. But I do think it's been we've been really on our Grussel, and I got to tell you, TJ, even though I sound incredibly energetic at all times on the mic, I'm feeling a little stretched thin. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I've been. Didn't we talk about that the last time we did a one-on-one a little bit? That I was feeling that.
Probably. Well, it's a constant feeling.
Yeah. Well, and you're feeling lonely too.
Yeah, I'm feeling. I walk into TJ's house. He's got the Christmas tree up. You know what I mean? Even though I hate it. What is that? What is that?
I'm just singing Christmas songs.
Jason,
I'm setting the mood.
The Christmas spirit in Glendale is fully up. It was also. It was up in Beverly Hills last night at dinner. It was,
Oh yeah, we went to Mr. Chow last night, didn't we?
We had a Chow,
Failing Chow.
No, I mean Mr. Chow last night. Of course, it's a movie. It's the best outdoor dining experience in Los Angeles because the streets in Beverly Hills are actually clean. So when you're dining on the curb like a plebe, it doesn't smell like urine or bleach. It just smells regular.
I noticed my biggest takeaway is their dividers that like every restaurant will build these little like plywood things. Like Delilah did like this awful like wooden thing, and then they put like the cheapest fake moss that you would get at Michael's or something like that. And that I know it's like a little like, come on guys. Lowry's did a terrible job. Boa did a great job.
Well, Boa didn't have to change anything,
but they still said it. They had these custom made plexiglass thingies. But Mr. Chow, it was a full custom bespoke acrylic separation device that was built. Like they definitely spent maybe $20,000.
Yeah, it's Chow, baby. We don't look. That number pales in comparison to the art collection in the restaurant. So it's but. There was a celebrity sighting, which I did post on Twitter, which really shook me to my core.
Larry G.
The most famous gallerist in the world, Larry Gagosian, strolling through, looking, honestly, the man looked tan and rich. And
I was trying to, what is his ethnic makeup? He looks like he's a little bit of everything.
I think he's Israeli, maybe. I think he's Israeli. But I mean, his look, he was wearing a nice blue suit, white shirt, no tie, looking very tan, looking svelte too, looking trim.
He was looking good, fit. But he was showing his age with the way he moved and navigated through the public
he's
space.
Not. He ain't slipping and sliding.
He's not a spry old cat, but he can really buy and sell us. He's definitely had people killed.
100%.
He's been on Epstein's plane.
Maybe. Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know.
Big Lair?
Lair might have sold. He might have made money off Epstein, but I don't know if he got on the plane.
Yeah, I was watching I forgot what it was, but they were talking about how there's like the world of like when you buy like a $30 million painting, it's not uncommon to have somebody duplicate that painting
to put in your house.
And then put the other one in storage. Is that something that I was like, that is like an absolute goal of mine.
That's what a lot of women do with jewelry too. It's like if you get the crazy engagement ring, you get a fake one to actually wear because it's too.
Right. Because like, I don't. You're a target, Kim K style.
I understand, but also like what? Like
at that point, what's the
point of having?
Why have a body? Why have a life?
Yeah.
Why anything?
It's very AI, But Mr. Chow, a movie as always.
The food is abysmal.
No, it's a 6 of 10. 6 of 10?
I mean, I wrote about it for something coming up in a little while, so I don't want to. I can't say.
Yes,
I don't want to drop all. I don't want to drop all my heat.
But I just, what, Jason? Before you disparage a restaurant that I love, I agree with you. I think, I'm not going there because I think it's just the height of culinary arts.
No, that's not why anyone goes there. You go there for the atmosphere, and you go there for the service.
The service is good,
and you go there because you're treated like a star by people who are used to catering to stars, and that feels differently. Like if I'm treated like a star at my local Taco Bell, I'm like, oh, that's nice. I wasn't expecting that. But if they're used to seeing like LeBron and Kim K and whatever
Chris
coming
Black,
through, and they treat you and me with the same reverence as one of those people, you feel for a moment that you are as good as them.
I would agree. I think that's the magic of a lot of restaurants of that caliber. I think there's a whole tier of restaurants that are like expensive and nice to be in and fun to eat at, and the food is fine. and I find myself drawn to those places.
And I know, and because you've been living in California for the last 6 to whatever months, I have found myself at these establishments as well.
Well, to be fair, during COVID, the only places willing to risk public health are overpriced celebrity catering restaurants. So that's part of it. Honestly,
I was thinking about it today.
Your little TJ Cool Guy restaurants ain't open right now.
Well, I was thinking about today the irony that I've spent my whole culinary journey really like. I want to seek out like these crazy hole in the wall spots that no one's ever been to.
Okay, we get it. You've seen Anthony Bourdain's show.
I want to do that, and I also want to, support these local startup mom and pop neighborhood restaurants that I believe in. I think they're doing something really cool and really well, and they need this money way more than like going to Houston's or going to.
To be fair, I'm not taking you to corporate restaurants.
That's true. But as soon as COVID hit,
yeah.
For some reason, all I wanted to do, or all I did do, was go to all these restaurants that have already made so much money and are totally fine and have big financial backing. And,
I do think there's something
not at risk.
I think there's something about it that's just a little bit comforting, maybe, even if it's the experience feels good and we're craving experiences.
Well, we're definitely craving experiences, and also we're so starved for experiences that we need to try something else, something new, something stronger and harder. Me going to Hail Mary, my local neighborhood pizza place, which I love, and getting another pizza, which I love.
Doesn't hit.
After a while, after a while, you have to up your dosage.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean,
you have to move from an eighth to an O.
I really to
a whole bricky.
I feel.
But because of that, I was like, all right, that was Lowry's Steakhouse. That was cool. I need Boa. I need Delilah.
Yeah.
I need, and you have to keep.
Who is the final boss? I think we did it. I think Nobu Malibu
is the final boss. But once I realized that we got sat in the broke hoe section, then that's a mulligan.
I think that it's weird because I agree with you.
We got set in the fucking Chet Hayes section where he picks up.
I think
fat hoes from Pacoima.
I think Chet Hayes is in the better section than we were in. I think that shout
out to Chet. We love you, baby.
I agree with you though. I want to support those kind of businesses too. Like I don't eat at restaurants like this that often, really. I just like them, and I think I talk about it, maybe. And it's like, because what am I going to do? How much can I talk about Cafe Mogador and Superiority Burger? It's like, that's not...
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It is the same way where like it's not enough to go to a restaurant that is nice. We have to go to a restaurant that also has food that looks good, because half the reason we're investing our money in this is so we can get the flick.
But I love going to, I also have a passion for new cool restaurants. I mean, I like to check out whatever.
True.
But also I think that I just like it all. I think it's okay to like it all for different reasons, basically. Mm-hmm. Like there's different, like going to bar restaurant, which is actually a great experience, and the food was definitely good and like more inventive and like pushing the envelope, was just as good as an experience as to me as going to Mr. Chow. It's just two different things.
When we went to Delilah, I remember we were talking to the server, and being like, what's up with the crowd, and has it gotten a little like bridge and tunnely during COVID? And they're kind of like, like business kind of went down a little bit because of COVID, obviously. So now like anyone can kind of come through and
come through Drake voice.
Anyone can come through Drake voice. So I think we might, or myself personally, not you, is also guilty of that. Of like now that when the cat's away, the mouse will play kind of vibe. Like I can finally go see how the other people live. I can experience.
But see,
I can try a pair of Louboutins on.
Yes.
And walk around Riho for a day.
Ketchup bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he said, "Let me see the ketchup."
Let me see the ketchup. I think that is true. I also think it's just funny, to be honest. And I think both of us just like funny stuff. And it's also the food is. It's not like it's like this is bad. I need to send this back. It's like it's just like. It's not gonna blow your fucking mind. That's just not what it is. You know.
But one thing, thank God, that all of these restaurants have in common. Can you guess what it is that pleases TJ?
Blue cheese olives.
They all have a martini.
How'd you order the martini?
Okay, well we'll get to that.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
We'll get to that. But it was weird when we went to Mr. Chow. It was dead ass a Monday at 7:00.
It was lit.
And before, like in the 30 seconds it took from us to get out of the car and be seated, I saw 12 to 35 martini glasses. Like a waiter would be walking past me with a tray above his head with just martinis sloshing everywhere. And something about that energy I
TJ
love.
Likey?
I love. Because that martini, it's literally the strongest drink you can order other than just getting like a glass of plain whiskey.
Yeah. I mean, you know, during my final days of drinking, I would often go to a local
Don't say it like that.
a local watering hole in Tribeca, and I would have this amazing homemade veggie burger, fries, and 2 martinis. And I would just be I'd go home, smoke some grass, and that's a good Friday night.
That's a good, yeah.
That was a good Friday night for me. And I do think a martini it's definitely the most like sexy drink. Like
it's the most chic cocktail.
It's chic.
You can
Yeah,
have.
I think ordering wine is like, honestly, there's too much talking that happens.
Yeah, I think I'm over wine now.
It's like too much talking and like it's just dorky.
Yeah, you look at the wine list, you know, especially at a respectable place. It's like, all right, I'm going to comb through 198 bottles. None of them I know. It's all in a language I don't speak, and you're just desperately like.
So instead,
is this the Chateau? Is
TJ
this
says, "Let me get Svedka on the rocks and 2 blue cheese."
No, I say, Garçon, Tito's Martini, make it dirty and blue.
Dirty and blue.
Dirty and blue has replaced, because this was another thing I was writing
Dirty and
about.
blue does sound like a mixtape, but continue. Are you talking blue like Blue Face Hundreds, or are you talking about blue cheese olives?
I'm talking about blue cheese olives.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify.
Now that every time I go out to a restaurant, I order a martini. I got one at fucking Cheesecake Factory at the Americana.
Yeah.
I'll get one at Mr. Chow. Wherever I'm at, if they have martini, I'm getting one. And I used to, and for some reason, I love the blue cheese olive instead of the regular olive. It's a nasty flavor all combined.
But they have them almost everywhere, huh?
They have them almost anywhere, but I realize that there's no cool, normal way of asking for that. Like, oh, do you guys have blue cheese olives? If you do, can I have my martini with blue cheese olives instead of the regular olive?
It's wordy.
So before I would say, like, what are your olive options, which is such a fucking douchey thing to say. And I would say it
you've said it and I've heard it. So,
but luckily I could say it in a jokey way and it's kind of funny, whatever. But that joke isn't funny anymore. And
Morrissey, we'll get to that.
And we will. And so I order them dirty and blue. And
Dirty
at Mr. Chow,
he knew.
I tried it out. I was like, Garçon, dirty and blue. And he looked at me and he was like, mm-hmm.
I dirty and blue reminds me of like barbecue speak, like low and slow, and I like it.
Well, when you order, that's restaurant lingo. When you order a steak black and blue, that's basically a step even under rare. So that basically means you take a piece of meat and you put it on the fire as hot as possible, where the outside is
crispy.
Charred and crispy, and the inside is literally, still frozen raw, like not even cooked a little bit.
That doesn't sound good.
That's a wild man's way of ordering.
That sounds very manly. Maybe that's why it doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, and it does appeal to me.
Speaking of manly, Morrissey.
Yeah, big Stephen Q. Morrissey dropped from
BMG.
Dropped from his label.
I mean, dude, it's really though honestly tough to watch. Like it's insane to watch someone unravel publicly. Like it like happens.
But is it an unravel? I mean, it comes with age. I think
it comes with age, but it's also like I think I suffer from this compulsion as well. I just don't have the same views, but it's like just to share, like just to talk when you maybe don't need to. You know what I mean? So I think if I'm saying some dumb shit that's like makes me look stupid, that's fine. But Morrissey's saying absolutely insane, racist shit, and like doesn't need to, like he just feels
these
that
people
compelled.
Should go back to the countries.
It's crazy. And unfortunately, I read this thing that the guy that you like that wrote the Radiohead book, Stephen Hayden, wrote about listening to Ryan Adams now, and how, because he was like a huge Ryan Adams fan, and somebody was like, what do you do like when this happens? And he was like, interesting, I don't feel the same compulsion to listen to it now that I know this about him. Mm-hmm. And I weirdly don't feel the same compulsion to listen to Ryan Adams either as I used to. And
Well, thank God, there's the Smiths.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I mean,
because I have no problem. Like I've experienced that with Michael Jackson. Like,
yeah,
I love the music of Michael Jackson, but
it doesn't come up anymore. It's like it's not.
If he's sort of been erased.
But that's what's so interesting about like being part. I think that's.
But Chris Brown continues to dominate my timeline with all these cool memes of the video of Yo. The Yo video of like, imagine if this man followed you to your car during this dance. Or like him funny. Doing the dance, and it's like, this is what it looks like when you're like in between tweaker hits on the crack pipe, and he's just doing like.
I think that the issue is once you're just not kind of part of the conversation in a normal way, we just forget about you. It's crazy.
You get by Felicia.
Yeah, you get by. No, but I mean, like, I think when Ryan Adams is putting out music at like a crazy clip, and he's like on Instagram and on Twitter, blah blah blah, then it's like you think about him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But
there needs to be. I think what happened was everyone was like, "Oh, MJ," whatever. But then when the documentary came out, and they saw like when I was 5 years old, he would make me get on all fours and spread my butt cheeks, and then he would say, "Hey, Applehead, come on over here," and then you're like, "Nope, I'm done. This is it."
Michael Jackson.
I'm saying we need to get a Ryan Adams HBO 3-parter.
No one cares.
Shut this man down. Yeah, no, it's going to be Showtime.
But he's gonna. I'm telling you, Michael Jackson though is still existing for sure. Like most people don't care is the reality. Like most people don't care or they don't believe it.
Yeah, most people for sure.
Like I think that's just because he's a global superstar, and the audience is just so big that you can't really get rid of that audience, no matter what.
Well, you can, because you could stop playing his music at weddings. You could stop playing his music on MTV and the radio. You could stop syncing it for commercials. It's absolutely happening.
No, I bet it's down 20%, but it's definitely not gone away. Guarantee you.
No, but like if Coca-Cola came out and they had Michael Jackson song on the commercial, it would be front page.
But if we're at the Lakers game, they're playing Michael Jackson.
That's true.
That's what I mean. Shit like that, where it's like a public, But I just thought that was
like the fat guy DJ from Power 106 who's getting paid in Miller Lite tickets.
Yeah, he's got
DJ. He don't give
so
a
I
fuck.
get a Kobe jersey and Miller Lite. All right, I'll do it. I think that was just. I just thought that was really interesting. But the Morrissey thing is like, I definitely will put on The Queen is Dead and rinse it often because that's
it makes me not want to listen to Morrissey solo shit, but I have no problem. I mean,
Smiths is the best
because that was recorded like when we were born. Like
I mean, watching Smith, I just have been going into some. The only thing I can do to like unplug is to get deep into YouTube music holes where I just spend 2 hours.
Damn, bro, have you tried that on weed?
I have. It's actually better this way, I think.
Because you get to member it?
I think I member, but that's the only thing I can do to like disconnect.
This is how we pass the nights at the Villa Carlotta?
Yeah, exactly. Some people are in the pool. Some people are drinking wine. Some people might be indulging in some marijuana.
CB's in room 112, sucking down an Erewhon sparkling water.
I'm enjoying my 6th La Croix of the night, and I'm watching a Smiths live video from 1982 where they play Cemetery Gates a little fast. That's what that's what I'm up to.
And you're happy as a pig and shit.
I am, but I think that's kind of when I get into like that is where I've been listening to the Smiths the most lately is in these holes. But we have a lot of music discovery too because of our Spotify show. So I feel like I always was aware because in the newsletter we always put the new releases in the newsletter on Fridays. Mm-hmm. But now I listen to them a little more, and I think that just once I start listening to music more in general, I think that that's my life now. Like when podcasting was all I listened to. It's just
music equals life. If you ask me,
I've heard that Tower Records is back, which is a terrible idea.
Wait, it's coming back virtually, digitally?
Yeah, it's like, guys, now you were a real record store. Like we don't. I mean, maybe they have numbers to prove, like vinyl sale. You know what I mean? Nerd shit, but
yeah,
I'm off that.
Ain't gonna happen. I got Discogs, baby.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't. It's hard for me to talk in this room because Jason's got so much. His vinyl weighs a ton in here. His delicious vinyl weighs a ton in here.
Yeah, I'm having flashbacks of us podcasting in my old house in the living room back in the day.
I honestly like walking in and sitting down and podcasting. I don't know what I like better. I can't decide. Because I'm very pro our method now because I think it's like timely. But this is nice.
Well, I'm a strong proponent of deprivation in every way, and we've deprived ourselves from IRL potting, and now we've edged for 100 episodes, and now it's a full release. I'm finna splash off.
I mean, once we open How Long Gone Studios in the heart of Hollywood, it'll be different. You know what I mean? I think, and get in touch with a studio manager about booking time there. But I will be, I will be producing albums as well, but it's mostly for podcasting.
Oh,
yeah.
We don't divulge too much. All right?
I don't want. I mean, there's a few people have gotten in touch, and they're just kind of like, look, Chris, you're kind of like our favorite vibe guy. We feel like you could really like mold the sound.
You do play off of vibes.
I play off of vibes. And I come into a room and I can suck up the vibes and then redistribute them into a better form. You know what I mean?
We should talk about our Twitch show that we have this week.
Should we?
Or maybe we don't want to jinx it, huh?
I don't know if we want to jinx it, but it's going to involve a company move.
Yeah, so this Friday, this podcast is coming out
Wednesday,
aka tomorrow. So yeah, in 2 days from now, our Twitch show will be on location somewhere else in Los Angeles.
A high income neighborhood.
A higher income neighborhood than the piss stained
than the shithole.
Man, downtown LA.
It's crazy, bro.
Like you just like I'll be walking down the street. And everything is not, and you're like, oh, there's a Soho House. Oh, this wine store is new, and that's kind of cool. But then you go inside the wine store, and you're like, you just leave this door unlocked, like what, like whoa. And then you turn the corner, and there's just like a dead animal, but like a big one, not like, oh, there's a mouse that got ran over by a car, but you're like, oh, that's like a 60-pound dog. Like you see that, and then you walk down a little bit more, and you're like, why is there like 1,000 gallons of like expired milk?
It's
like
crazy.
There's like a pool of it in some corner, and the smell of it, it makes your eyes burn.
Dude, the smell outside of Mad Decent Protocol is fucking like, I'm gonna call 311. It's loud.
It's weird to experience a smell. Only in downtown LA do you get that smell where you're like, if I'm here, if I get 3 good breaths of this,
it could be over for me.
I'm dead ass gonna vomit from odor. Like the only other time that could happen is if you like literally like stumble upon a dead body type of smell. Like,
it's cursed.
What can we do to fix downtown LA?
I mean,
I need answers.
Well, maybe if Gavin Newsom came down there, if he left French Laundry after the 8th course and came down to...
I'm jealous that Big Gav went to French Laundry before I did.
And came down to downtown LA.
Strawberries aren't even in season, guys.
Maybe he could help us.
He can't do shit. Nobody. I mean, the only at this point, the only issue, there's so many things going wrong in Los Angeles. The only issue that you have to fix to win is homelessness.
Yeah,
and no one's ever going to fix it. It's just like, what are we ever?
I don't understand.
Echo Park is getting.
I don't understand what. I mean, obviously, we're not experts on this, but it's
unhoused, I should say.
But it seems like it's just like we don't really care. You know what I mean? Like that's the vibe, right?
They've never cared.
Yeah, but I mean,
but there's so many. It's like we have 80,000.
Yes, but that's because they haven't cared for so long. Like this problem. Not that it's not ongoing. It's definitely an ongoing problem, especially right now when the government is not, helping people at all, and they're out of work. It's only going to push people to more homelessness and living in their cars or whatever it may be. But I do think that it just feels like, guys, there's got to be a way to do it. Just spend some money and we can get this done.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to spend the time to help others when you are just barely holding on for your own life, and I think that's what they want our society to be experiencing. So we're all just kind of every man for himself, every person for themselves.
Every person for themselves is unfortunately,
and that's the way America feels.
No,
like
it's
right
fucked,
now.
and I also know that I'm kind of like that, and I know it's wrong, but it's a very hard habit to break. And
that's how a lot of people are, and unfortunately, that's how a lot of people I know who grew up with not very much money, or you had a rough childhood or a rough start of like I've seen the bad side of things. I've been to the bottom. I've seen the gutter, and like I made it out on top. Like I have a crib, I have a car. Like I'm making money now. Like I ain't going back to that.
Yeah.
And fuck y'all. I'm gonna do me. Like you didn't look out for me when I was in the gutter. So why am I gonna look out for you?
Which is that
if I give you my loaf of bread, how am I going to eat?
Sure. That doesn't explain why someone like me who's never had a hard day in his life feels like that. But I do think it's the nature of America and what we're taught. It's like it truly is every man for himself, and nothing has been more illustrative of that than the last year.
Yeah, and any type of social services are kind of looked down upon.
Yeah.
Unless you already come from a wealthy background and you're like, then it's like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, totally. It's fucked. But downtown is fucked, but luckily we won't have to be there.
Maybe I should stop making fun of teachers so much.
No, it's okay. I mean, going downtown has been an eye-opening experience, and having a week off from that is great, even if it's going to take 2 hours to get there. You know what I mean? But I mean, we should probably... I'm thinking about a new outfit for this.
Board shorts?
Maybe I'll borrow a rash guard from our guest.
Stop dropping clues.
What? Kelly Slater is confirmed.
I mean, I've never worn a full wetsuit, so I don't know what that feels like, but I feel like I don't think it would look great on me.
It doesn't really look great on anyone, but
that's absolutely wrong.
I would rock. So I told you
if you
before,
don't have a deformed body, like if you're just a normal looking person.
So I would look great in one. You mean?
Yeah, if you're a normal looking fella or gal or person, even if you could lose some lbs, you put that wetsuit on, zip it up to that chinny chin, and
I don't know, bro.
And suddenly everything is distributed perfectly.
Have you seen Jonah Hill in a wetsuit?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It can only do so much.
Yeah, it's not shapewear. Skims in stores now. Go cop.
Even Skims can only do so much. But I'm saying if you could drop 20, 25, you put the wetsuit on, you're like, oh, looking good.
It's great
because the spare tire gets distributed all throughout, and those thicky thighs, they get squished down.
I'm trying to
fill out the calves a little bit.
I'm trying to get the Tom Brown wetsuit that looks like a tuxedo.
Oh my god,
it's very sick.
What is that for? When you work at SeaWorld?
No, I wanted to. I was trying to secure it for this weekend. For this, it would have been a motion picture, but there's only a few in existence, I believe.
Pull up in the Tommy.
Pull up. I mean, I do need. I feel like I need a new look, but a new fit. But there's just no time, Jason.
There's no time, and I feel like a person like you is not going to do any shopping in failing fashion forward Los Angeles either.
I am waiting on my Stussy 40th anniversary T-shirts to arrive, which I'm very excited about. So maybe that's
what am I? I don't know if I'm waiting on anything.
You're not, and if you were, it'd be because of me. And don't forget that.
Oh, don't forget it when I'm at the top.
Yeah, don't forget CB. Wait, don't. No, I don't know. I'm confused now.
Every time Burberry sends me new drip, I'll be sure to give you 15% of that.
Jason,
I'll throw you a sock.
I appreciate this line of defense you have, but I got the same jacket, and I would like to point out that the Burberry contact is mine. So remember that when you're wearing your little jacket.
Well, the Burberry contact was yours, and now the Burberry contact is ours.
I have to remind myself when TJ gets a little too big for his already big britches that a win for TJ is a win for Chris.
That's right. And
that's what true partnership is all about.
And vice versa, of course.
I don't feel like you really believe that.
I believe that.
I don't know if you want to see CB win.
I mean, I'm willing to step on your head to get to the top. That's what you're saying. I'm willing and actively trying to do that. Currently in the process.
I would
run
you over with a car and say it was an accident, but I mean,
no. Once I kind of skyrocket, I have every intention of having you be my manager or something like that.
Great,
whatever, driver, however you want to slice it up.
Yeah,
but you'll get a cut. It's
I could
all
probably
good,
do
baby.
both because when you're driving, what I've learned being in LA is when you're driving, you can take calls. You know what I'm saying? So just remember,
Yeah, I'm gonna. Your nickname is now going to be Bluetooth because
When
you're going to be spending a lot of time on there.
when you and Danny Bowen open a restaurant together, I'll be able to manage your Bon Appetit video, career.
Me and Danny got a pop up at Squirrel Plan.
So it's you and Danny at Squirrel, and then what are you doing with Batali in New York?
Yeah, it's going to be. Damn, I forgot about Batali.
So you and then any other?
What is Batali? Yeah,
do you have other plans, or is that it?
Yeah, I mean, my only goal is to. Well, I mean, Allison Roman,
Adam Rappaport from Bon Appetit. You guys
I forgot about him. He got big.
He's ghostwriting your book.
He got big removed. I totally forgot that guy existed. But I also felt like that guy never even enjoyed or cared about food.
Well,
whatsoever.
it's a funny thing because I think when you get to this is true about like C-suite too. I think when you get to a certain level of your career, you just kind of like work anywhere because you're like qualified for it. And I think he had been in publishing long enough where it was like, here, like take this job. You're cool, like.
But is he going to be able? I mean, did he get a job?
No, but
no one's going to hire him.
Because
every person there is going to be like, I quit.
He'll get a job. He'll get a job, or he'll start a Substack. Or a podcast, or a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Or he'll get a band camp. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder what happened because, like, a guy like that, how much money do you think he was making a year? Like, what kind of salary was he drawing for being?
I don't know.
The editor in chief of Bon Appetit.
I honestly don't.
$300K?
Yeah, probably.
Probably a 300.
But it's not.
Isn't it weird that person who's like, I'm the editor in chief of a magazine that makes all this money, has millions of people listening and following, and I have hundreds of employees from the top to the bottom, and I make as much money as like a mid to small sized DJ in Vegas.
I think
Skrillex makes my entire salary in one night.
I think what you're forgetting and what the reason those
come with other perks, of course.
Well, it's the power is what you're getting. You're like a real player in this business that you really care about, and that for some people is not more important than money, but it's
I feel like that system is crumbling by the day, though.
I mean, I don't think that human beings struggling and desiring power is something we're going to see go away.
No. That's always going to be there, but that system, the publishing system, the record label system, the movie studio system.
No, I just think it'll be different people getting the power.
Yeah, but it's not going to be that way. You're going to have to get it on your own. You're not just going to be able to be picked and placed into something like, okay, you're good at you can do this at Condé Nast.
I actually don't think that's true. I think that it's like a whole group of people need to die for that to like actually stop. Does that make sense?
It does, but
like,
that's happening.
It will happen, but that's what I said about fashion.
But those, I mean, they don't have to die. They just have to get old enough to where they are not in touch enough to do this cultural job.
But Anna Wintour should have retired years ago and given that job to somebody that's more qualified. And there's a million people that could do a better job than her.
If Anna Wintour was a man, do you think she would have been gone by now?
I mean, Graydon Carter was at Vanity Fair for a very, very long time until he just couldn't be there anymore. You know what I mean? It's like,
what does that mean? He just couldn't be there anymore.
I don't know the details, but I imagine it was. I mean, I think when you're at that level, they come to you and give you an opportunity to shape the narrative of your exit. They're not gonna.
We're
you're
like,
the face
look,
of the magazine for 25 years.
We got the Epstein logs. We know you were touching some kids on there.
No,
however
not
we
that.
want to
Do not
slice
say
it.
that. I just mean that, like, if it's time to go because shit is stale, it's time to go, and like. But
so if I take a shot like that at Graydon Carter, what is the equivalent of that for me? Like who is my Graydon Carter? Tom York?
Maybe
something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Graydon and Bourdain in the same, because I actually like Bourdain.
Right.
Quite a lot. Actually, I like Tom York too. I just, not as much as you.
I just don't know much about Graydon other than he looks insane.
Graydon he's truly
shit, right?
He's truly is like the opposite face of what any media company would want to have at the top right now. Mm-hmm. He's an old rich white guy who lives literally in Connecticut, I think. Mm-hmm. But he does. I'm saying those people in those positions, they don't have to die. They're being deaded right now because all their employees are like,
they're able to be like, nah.
Well, here's the
and
thing,
get
Jason.
something done.
Here's the
Whereas
thing.
back in the day, they could say nah, and they'll be like, "Oh, you little fucks are fired. Fuck off." And they used to be able to do that 10, 20 years ago. And now the power is they don't have that power that you're talking about.
As many people as we only hear about the people that are like, no, fuck this, I hate him. There's a lot of people who are like, I would fucking clean Graydon Carter's toilets. That's just how it is. Like,
sure.
You know, and that is not going to go away. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that
there's a lot of people that would clean Alex Jones's toilets too. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I mean. There's always going to be people in power that shouldn't be, because that's the case. Because to be in that kind of power, you have to create a.
But their platform is not this golden pedestal that it used to be. Like if you say
it's in the eye of the beholder. TJ. It's in the eye of the beholder.
That's true, but. If I say I'm the editor-in-chief of Vanity Fair, I can do whatever I want in New York. If I say I'm the editor-in-chief of Infowars.com, no one's even going to give me the time of day unless you go to like a Walmart.
You could get a table at Walmart on a Friday at 8 p.m. No, you're right, but I think that's the thing. It's
but
like,
it is in the eye of the beholder. But I'm talking about your beholder.
Oh,
your eye.
Yeah, but I my point is that the no matter who's in charge and the power structures and all that stuff, it's there's going to be hero worship at any level if it's something sexy like media or food, anything that's like a sexy, desirable career that has faces attached to it at all. There's going to be a level of like hero worship and kind of like unnecessary in a lot of cases, like pedestal placing, and that's just going to exist. That's how the world is set up to exist.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, that's just where we are. There's no way around that. I mean, yeah, you might have a popping Substack, you know, for a couple years, but what is that, you know, where does that lead you?
It could, I mean, where does that is absolutely true. I agree with all of that, but also like, where does
where does having a job at Vanity, where does any of it lead you?
Yeah,
is the question, because there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just two different paths. You know, but I think that anybody who,
but it's like going down the tried and true and tested, but on its way out path, or the unsure TBD, very brand new, but you know,
it's just two different kinds of people. You know, and in some ways,
and the age discrepancy is what goes down either path.
Yeah, I mean, I think the days of like 21-year-old interns, you know, working 14 hours a day, like schlepping bags on the subway is not going to happen. Like I think that is over. But I don't think that I think we're still a while away of like the glamorization of like a fashion job or a media job. I just don't see that happening in the near future. Because the Substack shit and all this newsletter stuff and all that shit, it's the same thing, just in a different fucking package. It's the same idea. There's people that everybody's like they're looking to and idolizing. It's the same shit. It's just like, oh, they don't have a boss. Like, okay, they're not mean to their employees. That's because they don't have any. Like, we don't know if they'd be mean. Like, it's not, you know.
Yeah.
So what do we don't know anything about these people, and they will eventually, I'm sure, like fuck up in their own ways because they're going to get drunk on power just like everyone else does with whatever job they have. Like the manager of the local fucking McDonald's is drunk on power. I'm sure a substacker with too much attitude is going to be in the same position.
Damn, I think that was the first time I've heard the word substacker, just like YouTuber or TikToker.
It's real. But I'm also...
Yeah, I went to fucking Equinox, so it's just full of a bunch of fucking substackers.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Well, it's honestly, I think substacker is going to get used like freelancer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at what point will it switch from a derogatory term to
just a term?
I
think substacker,
because YouTuber and TikToker, I feel like that'll always be derogatory.
Well, it's certain circles.
In certain circles, yeah.
I think that substacker.
But yeah, I mean,
it's funny.
It sounds like
funny. It sounds like a $4.99 meal at a fast food restaurant.
Every week you read another article about like, oh, this fucking loser at Substack makes 4 times as much money as anybody who does that same job at a magazine who has 10 more years of experience.
Making money is cool. That's the bottom line. So go do a Substack. I don't think it's bad or good. I'm just saying it's two different things. And I think that there's a certain point where people will just, you know, like, I don't know. If I'm paying $50 a year, that's a very small amount of money. So if I click once, that's fine. You know what I mean? If I click 5 times, that's fine. But if you ain't got the $50, you're just trying to support it. It's just, I don't know. There's no, if you do something wrong and you're fucked, there's nothing to catch you is what is kind of the difference.
Right.
But I think that's true at this point. That's true at any job.
Yeah. I mean, how much do you think magazines, like fashion magazines or any of these magazines, are going to be able to weather the storm? I mean,
the other difference is there's a line of defense before it comes out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like if you write something and there's some shit in there that shouldn't be, your editor will be like, no. Substack, right. You push publish, your whole shit's over.
Yeah.
That's why I'm such an advocate for the editing of the newsletter and that being like a viable business for the future. But I mean, it's probably all for the best because we are getting more stuff, and I would say more of it is good than maybe ever.
Yeah, and I think there's a big parallel with streaming television. The way it would be like, all right, we have Apple, we have Netflix, we have all blah, 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 blah. Like we have 10 streaming platforms and you can bundle them all together and get all these channels in one place. And then somebody eventually will be like, ladies and gentlemen, we just created cable television. Yeah, congratulations. The very thing that you created to, be the opposite. It's already
the same.
And the same thing is happening with Substack or like, we have this thing and you can monetize your platform and write whatever you want. And now you can use this service to hire an editor and then they'll watch your stuff and you have this thing to do this thing. And then eventually they're like, ladies and gentlemen, we've reverse engineered a website.
This is blogs, bro.
You have a blog now. Yeah. So I think that's always going to happen over and over again.
No, you're right. That's probably the best way to look at it. But
before when we've advanced and been able to figure out a way to monetize it, and the subscription model is, everyone is betting on that being the future of everything. And that's just the way it has to be. So we've gotten smarter at figuring out how to monetize things the right way to where these creators can be paid. Because before, when you were a blogger 10 years ago, there'd be a million different bloggers and 7 of them would be making real actual money. Yeah. And then everyone else would be like, I make $8,000 a year blogging.
Yeah, I was like...
And you're like, holy shit, that's crazy. Yeah. How did you do that?
No, you're right. It is going to be the same. But at a certain point, then it becomes, okay, if I was actually subscribing to all of this streaming stuff, it would cost me more than cable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And for me, I don't need all of that. But I think a lot of people that we know that have the income and the time are subscribing to like at least 5 or 6 streaming services of varying price points. Whereas I pay for cable and Netflix. And Netflix I only really have because I feel like I would be like missing out on conversations. Mm-hmm. And even though it's been divided up, it's not like Netflix is running the show like they were, but I would say they get the most, maybe not, but the most talked about. And
absolutely
debated content because they're making the most.
It's so crazy. I mean, I remember when they were like, we're going to be $9.99 from $7.99, and then they went from $9.99 to $12.99, and now they're going to $13.99. Like,
it's going to be $20.
Them adding $1 makes them like $90 million extra dollars a month. I think
that's fucked up.
That's wild.
That's wild.
Like they make billions of dollars, billions and
we
billions.
still don't even know what we don't have any data. We don't even know how many people are watching this shit.
That's the coolest part about it.
It is. I know. And they show us like a ranking, but like, okay, that's like a website saying most clicked on article. Like, okay.
Yeah.
That's not real. That's not data. That's like you telling me.
Yeah, it's the same as me looking at the new MacBook Pro. Like, oh, I want to check this out, and it's like, This computer is going to be 6 times faster than the other computer. And you're like, bitch, what other computer?
Which one? You guys make a lot of computers.
The good one. but it's enough.
Yeah,
that's all I need, and that's all I care about.
I mean, I think we are truly in the golden age of content, and there's too much. But when there's too much, it just takes more time to find what's good. But that inherently means there's more good.
Oh, yeah.
That's
why I'm considering starting my zine.
I think, look,
a zine.
As a zine head, as a guy with an apartment full of zines, I remember when people couldn't pronounce zine or vegan. Zine and vegan.
Zine and vagin.
Vagin? That sounds like a female sex organ.
Well, I think My grandma used to pronounce it vegan, and
By the way,
and we'd be like, nah, and then somebody was like, no, literally, like that's the correct way to pronounce it.
shut up, nerds.
It's true.
No, it's
I mean,
not.
if you just look at it, the way we
We're not
pronounce
pronouncing shit phonetically on this side, bro.
it should be Veeegan, and the same way
That's a good name. Isn't that a DJ's name, or is that VGYN?
There's a Y in there.
What's that? How do you say that?
I think it is. I think that's probably just vegan, but yeah, it's with the Y.
Is
But
that
there's a lot of those words like Los Feliz. Nobody pronounces that correctly, but you're a loser if you pronounce it correctly. Is the problem?
Yeah.
If you're white, at least.
Yeah, if somebody calls you Jason, I'm like, you're a fucking loser. It's TJ.
If you call me the M Jeans, like my man Jerry Saltz Z.
Jason has been embattled in a interesting convo with art critic and Pulitzer Prize winner Jerry Saltz on Twitter, where he said, "Hey Jerry, when we potting?"
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry seems very confused, but I can't tell if Jerry's acting a little bit.
I can't tell either because he's up in his years and he is disconnected from everything except for the art world. But also he's appeared on many podcasts of all different types.
Do you think
even recent, like he did the Harvard Business Review podcast like in like a few weeks ago.
Do you think what are the chances of him doing a How Long Gone?
Right now, I would say yesterday when I threw that Hail Mary pass to him and said, when we potting, I would say 4% chance of him agreeing to it.
Or day 2.
And day 2, he responded. He responded to like many tweets.
Yes.
That other people like people started piling on. It is
Being like, do it.
There's a grassroots movement, and there's been like 10 or 15 different people like
grassroots movement.
Jerry, do it for the culture, bro. And then I'll get a notification that says Jerry Saltz like to tweet your mention in, and it'll be like my friend being like, do it for the culture, bro. And I'm just imagining Jerry Saltz, a Pulitzer Prize winning celebrated writer, just like hitting a heart on his phone of like,
do it for the culture, bro.
Honey, I guess they want me to do it for the culture.
So when they culture,
he'll reply back and saying like, what is the M Jeans? Tell me about you. And I'll be like, here's all the stuff about me. What are we going to talk about? Here's what we're going to talk about. And then he'll be like, what is left you gone mean? I'm like, that is the name of the podcast. So I'm like, are you senile or are you trolling?
I think he's horsing around, but
Jerry Saltz Z, you are on my last nerve if you're listening, and I know you are.
Yeah, it's time for you to fucking, put down the iced coffee and come on the pod. That's the damn truth.
Yeah, I think I've listened to him on David Chang's podcast a couple of times.
On whose podcast?
I've listened to him on David Chang's podcast.
Yeah,
and
that's not good.
David Chang just loves him, and he's like, because he wrote the article about his eating habits. That's why. And that's why everyone wants him on the podcast, because they're like, oh, this fucking guy is a freak show. I got to hear everything about him. And then like the Harvard podcast was like asking him all about that as well. So
don't worry, Jerry. We're not going to talk about your eating habits.
People were very fascinated by that. And I think he liked to talk about it, but he was kind of like, I never knew that I was a freak until I started telling other people about my habits. Yeah. And then they're like, no, it's not normal to go to the bodega and buy 30 chicken breasts and a garbage bag full of broccoli, steam all of that together in one big bucket, put it in a refrigerator, and eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day for the month.
It's cool.
That is not normal.
But it's also
like whatever you're doing, whatever mind created that game plan.
I need to know more.
Let me soak it up, because holy fuck, you were a freak.
Man, you think
and I'm instantly fascinated. Like, to me, like if I'm at a dinner party or if I'm at anywhere and somebody tells me that, I'm like, I could be talking to Emrata. I could be doing all these things, and I'll be like, move, you, me, we're going to,
So chicken breast, broccoli, 30 days.
I have 1 billion questions. You're my new best friend. I need to study you.
I understand the compulsion. Jerry doesn't do a lot for me. I find him a little obnoxious, but people find me obnoxious too.
Yeah, people do find you obnoxious. People find Jerry obnoxious, but though, you don't.
The problem is with Jerry is that he's one of those people who, when you read his work, it's like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
When you follow him on social media, you're like, I what's going on.
Well, maybe you're the opposite. They follow you on social media and say this is incredible, and then they read your work and say, "Oh, this is also incredible." But then, what is the downside to you? Maybe you don't have one.
I got a lot of downsides. We don't have time.
We don't have time. But I mean, I give him a pass on the social media because of his age. Like he's like 70 years old or something.
I would too, but at a certain point, it's like if you're participating that much, I don't care how old you are, you should kind of start to learn how it works.
Yeah, but I mean, like if your dad woke up and had 1 million followers on Twitter, what do you think he'd be doing?
That's true.
How do you think he'd be navigating those waters?
He
would just be like, he would tell you today, like, Chris, what does on fleek mean? Like he would be right. So behind.
On fleet, you mean? The new Twitter function?
On fleet. Yeah, I mean, and I feel bad for big Jerry Saltz Z. He's like, now I have to do a fleet?
What is a fleet? It's just a story, but it's on Twitter.
It's a tweet that will expire within 24 hours, just like an Instagram story.
So Twitter and Instagram are literally the same now.
Yeah, and it's all the funniest part about it is it's all just Snapchat. It's all going because we all
Big Evan married what's her name?
I don't know.
Yeah, you know who it is. Orlando Bloom's ex, the Victoria's Secret model.
Yeah,
that dork, Miranda Kerr.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
Kerr used to be a little baddie back in the day.
Kerr still bad.
Still a baddie.
We know you like an Australian, but she
Okay. Okay. I found her on Snapchat.
If found her on Snapchat. But he didn't sell for like $3 billion, and then they all ate his motherfucking lunch, just stole his swag.
Because that was the
Cali
problem.
swag district.
They said I'm a jerk. New boys. They fucked his whole, because everyone would be like, Snapchat is the best. You can like post shit and it goes away after 24 hours. You can send somebody a picture of your dick and it gets deleted, and you could do this and this and this, and then you would download it and look at it and be like, I'm a grown ass man. I can't be like, what is this? Yeah. Like, it looks like a weird little like video game for 5-year-olds. Like, nobody uses it over the age of 16. I can't do it.
I never downloaded it.
And then they're like, we're gonna buy it. We're gonna buy this off of you and implement it. And he's like, nah, bro. And then they're like, okay,
yeah,
we are gonna eat your lunch.
He flew
and now they have
close
stories. They have Yelp stories. They have Facebook stories, Twitter stories, Instagram stories, the whole thing. And so now it's like, that's it. We never need Snapchat.
Damn, who's gonna write the 10,000 word obituary for the Grid? R.I.P. the Grid. The day. I mean,
I love the duality of Grid on stories.
I think so too, but I think most people, the Grid is not even a thing.
No, it's not.
Like, it's not really part of the combo like it used to be.
I was talking about it with Kyle about his story today about ambient television.
Yeah.
You got A-roll and B-roll.
True.
I think and his article is about how the B-roll has become the ambient television that we all like to watch.
Kyle's so good. Ambient television is such a catchy phrase. It's so descriptive. He's so good at that. It's like,
we don't deserve him.
That shit was everywhere today. It was viral. But and I think part of it is ambient television. I'm clicking. Like, what does that mean? Like, I need to know what that term
I love television.
means.
I love ambient.
I don't
Yeah,
love
even
ambient.
fucking Jerry was like, what is ambient music? And I was like, I had to send him a YouTube clip of like, here's an ambient song.
Did you send him a YouTube clip of an ambient song?
I've devoted my whole fucking life to Jerry Saltz Z in the last 48 hours.
You've turned full Saltz Z.
Yeah, he was like, I had to explain what my DJ name means. I had to send him a link to the Master P Them Jeans YouTube. I was like, it's a reference to this Master P song. Do not click play, or else you definitely won't come on the podcast. Like, I'm giving him the full white glove treatment. I'm treating him like I'm a car salesman at the Benz dealership, and I got a big fish on the line. I got a whale coming in to get the 500.
This is really, guys, pay attention. Follow at Them Jeans on Twitter to just really
watch this space.
Watch this space to see Them Jeans really.
You know, I couldn't help to think or to compare when I was doing my my kettlebell swings today. Of like, you know, fishing has been on the brain lately, and
so whether it's for amphibians or art critics,
well, you know. When you're pulling up a big lunker, sometimes you got let a little line out.
Bitch, you can't call anybody a big lunker. That's literally what you are.
Saltz Z is a lunker. Okay, so like if they're like, hey, I want to get the fucking this fucking bro DJ guy I know, whatever. Like that's like catching a tadpole. I put the fish in the water, put the hook in the water, pull him up, yank him into the boat, whatever, on to the next one. But somebody like a Saltz, you gotta finesse it. You gotta go down to the bottom. You gotta troll it. You gotta wiggle that lure just right. And once he bites, you gotta go easy. You gotta wear him out.
Okay. You gotta thank you for joining us, guys. It's been a lovely one-on-one pod.
Woo! What a roller coaster.
And, it's been a long day for us. How long gone after dark? The first podcast where TJ and I were actually in the same room.
Can't wait to hear how it sounds.
I can't either. And
will it be better? Will it be worse?
We apologize for our technical error. It will not happen. Well, it'll probably happen a couple more times in our existence, but it won't happen soon.
Also, we're the only people who know that there was a technical error.
I know, but I like to be honest with the fans. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think that
all trust, baby.
We will have a new podcast on Friday with a guest.
Yeah, probably.
And
a Twitch.
Don't miss the Twitch. It's going to be a motherfucking motion picture.